good to have you join us on today's edition of Worthy by Design, brought to you by Advent Cable Network Nigeria, ACNNTV. On this show, we'll focus on the journey from girlhood to womanhood and everything in between. I am Iberi Chims. Welcome. In a survey conducted by Harvard Business School, all the successful female executives in that study had a mentor. And according to Forbes, mentorship is one of the best ways to build sustainable female leadership. What then does this portend for the next generation of women in business, leadership, and governance? How do we harness this tool for greater impact? The focus of our discussion today is mentorship, raising tomorrow's female leaders. To put things in perspective is our special guest, Mrs. Amaka Ogwejofor. She is an award-winning writer, poet, and publisher. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Right. So we'll go right into this discussion. I will start from your personal experience.
All right.
Now, mentorship is an issue that we all agree we need to discuss.
Absolutely.
As a writer, a poet, a publisher, did you have mentors?
Funnily enough, I would say not really.
Why not?
In the sense that it's just like what we are discussing. We are trying to create an awareness of a better way of doing things.
Okay.
I didn't have a mentor because I didn't realize I needed one.
Right. Okay.
I didn't realize I needed one. So basically, I modeled through. I taught myself. I taught myself.
Mistakes.
I made the necessary mistakes. I learned from them. I gained experience and expertise on my own. But there are better ways. And I think that is the subject of our discussion.
Yes.
There are actually better ways of doing it.
Right. So what really is this whole mentorship that you missed out on?
Mentorship is basic to life. Mentorship is basic to life. Mentorship is about the person who is experienced, the person who knows, imparting that knowledge deliberately, getting that knowledge across to someone who desires to know the same thing. It's an expert teaching and training the inexperienced. It's a transfer of what is known. It's a transfer of what you have learned over a period of time on a particular area of life or endeavor, transferring it consciously and deliberately to someone else who needs the knowledge. And that is mentorship.
So it has to be deliberate.
It has to be deliberate.
On the part of the mentor?
On the part of both mentor and mentee.
Right.
It has to be deliberate. It has to be a conscious thing. Sometimes you get elements of mentoring without realizing it from people. You know, it's informal, it's unconscious. But when you have an aim, when you have a target, when you have a purpose, it makes sense to get into it deliberately and consciously so that you know where you started, where you're going, when you have ended, what you have gotten. I think it's important for one to be clear. So that you can track progress. You can track progress, yes.
And flowing from what you have said,
yes.
Why is it important for women, we're talking women now, to be mentored?
It's important for women to be mentored because women are human beings.
Okay.
Every human being needs mentoring. Right. It's important to, how do I put it now? You know, there are two ways of learning in life. You can learn, like I said, by trial and error. You can learn by jumping in, jumping out, going round and round in circles. Or you can learn by learning from someone who has learned. And so it is important for women to be mentored, for them to be able to take their place. You know, we're talking about women taking their place in leadership, women taking their place in the corporate world, women taking their place in various areas of endeavor, including publishing and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How do you do that without getting a leg up? How do you do that without getting some help from somebody who's been there, done that, and is successful? And has sustained the vision. How do you get there? So the best way to do that is to tap into that other individual's knowledge base.
Like they say, tag along.
Tag along. Tag along. That's the best way of doing it, yes.
Now, is this similar to discipleship? You know, when we talk of mentorship, people are like, it's a secular, you know, it's a secular philosophy.
Yes.
Is it similar to discipleship? How do we put this two side by side?
It's actually the same principle.
Right.
It's actually the same basic principle, discipleship and mentorship. Yes, discipleship is more in the line of church matters, spiritual things.
Yeah.
Yes, mentorship is applicable anywhere. It's
Right.
applicable in commerce, it's applicable in industry, it's not applicable in entertainment industry, it's applicable anywhere.
Everywhere.
But nobody is going to say, come and disciple me, I want to become a broadcaster. You understand? You understand what I'm saying?
Right,
Hey, you will say, come and mentor me.
Okay.
So it's like the lexicon applicable to whichever area
Okay.
of knowledge. Yeah, so but the basic principle is the same in that there's a mentor, there's a mentee, there's someone who knows and there's somebody who aspires to know and who currently does not know. And that mentor is willing to transfer what they know to that person who is seeking that knowledge. So the basic principle remains the same.
Right. And I'm wondering, who is qualified to be a mentor?
That's a question. The person, you can't give what you don't have.
True. True.
So the person who is qualified to be a mentor is someone who has. You have what to impart, you have what to teach, you have what to transfer to the other individual. That's the basic minimum requirement.
Okay.
However, speaking from other dimensions, a person who has trained in the area that wants to teach the other individual, a person who has, I don't know whether we are still coming to this, but there are certain characteristics you want to see in somebody that you want to go to and say, mentor me in this area.
Let's go to that.
Let's
for
go
a
to that.
prodigy who is looking for a mentor,
Yeah.
what should she be looking out for? What
You
are the
should be looking at
characteristics?
somebody who is well experienced
Okay.
in that area. You
So
should
you
be
need to be
looking at
specific.
yes, you know what you're looking for. She's looking for somebody who is well experienced in that area. She's looking for somebody who has evidence. It's not enough to say, I know.
Yes.
We
The
need to
records
see
can speak.
exactly. We need to have a track record. This is what I have done. This is what I have done. This is what. So you're looking for that kind of person who is not just saying I am capable, but you are seeing the results of their effort. You're seeing the result. You're seeing their product. So the person is a product already, because that's seeing the made person inspires you to become.
Sure.
You know, hearing the story of how they went from here to there and all of that, it helps you to also aspire to become like this individual. And you need to look for somebody who is stable. I think it is very, very important. When you're talking
Stability,
about
you mean?
stability, I mean, it's not financial. You know, anytime we talk about stability in Nigeria, our minds go to financial stability.
Okay.
You're looking for somebody who is in a stable place, who is mature.
Right.
Who is, because you see, mentorship is something, it's like teaching and training. It takes a lot of patience. So you're not looking for somebody
sacrifice.
who has a short fuse.
Sure.
It takes sacrifice. You're not looking for somebody who is always on their on the edge, you know, somebody who is irritable. You're looking for somebody who is arrested in who they are, who doesn't feel threatened. It's very important.
Yes.
Because sometimes in the issues of mentorship, especially when the mentor sees that a mentee has a capacity to possibly overtake them, if that person is not mature enough to know that overtaking is allowed in this business, the person might actually begin to put obstacles in the way of a brilliant mentee. So you have to look for somebody who has self-confidence, somebody who is assured in themselves, who doesn't feel threatened by your progress and your success. I think those things are very crucial. They're very important.
Now, you have told us what to look out for in a
Yes.
mentor. Now, who needs a mentor?
Everybody needs a mentor. I need a mentor. You need a mentor.
You now need.
Oh, yes. I need a mentor. Everybody needs a mentor, because a mentor is that person who is going to take you to the next level. Nobody is saying you're not anywhere. You're somewhere. But you want to go beyond where you are to the next level. And there's somebody who is there already. In fact, maybe the person was there 20 years ago. And so you want to key into that person's experiences. You want to key into their life. You want to tap into their knowledge base.
Okay, let me hold you up there.
Yes.
Now, the issue is, let's discuss this in the context of women.
Yes.
We understand the fact that women have a very bright future.
Yes.
Women do great things.
They do.
Even as a rural woman in the farm,
Absolutely.
she's doing great things. But how do we go beyond those great things we do in our little corners to sitting in the boardrooms, to being in the corridors of power, to making great decisions that affect the world? How do we go beyond where we are?
Mentorship. Mentorship.
How do they do it?
It's
A lady out there is wondering, said,
Yes.
yes, I want to head.
become a politician.
True. Let's use that.
Head a parastatal.
Yes.
Or something of that nature. I think it's something that we begin to need. This discussion is very relevant. We have to begin to be conscious of this thing, that there is an easier way to get this done. Like I said earlier, you can model through. It's allowed. It is you that will feel the heat. Yes, you can model through. Or you can look at somebody who is there already. But then this brings us back to the issue of the person who is there already. How willing is she to take somebody under her wing? How willing is she to say, 20 years ago I was this person, and maybe somebody helped me?
So what would be your message to that person who we need to be willing, to the mentor?
Be willing. Be willing. The Bible says, freely you have received, freely give. If somebody saw you as a potential, saw the potentials in you, and the person reached out to you and said to you, I see that you're traveling the path I traveled 10 years ago. You're traveling the path I traveled 20 years ago. And I want to make it easier for you. I want to take you under my wing. I want to facilitate you.
That would be amazing.
I want to open doors for you. I want to break doors for you. Somebody did that for you. Why shouldn't you do it for someone else? So I think it brings us back.
It's like giving back.
It's like giving back. It's like giving back to the system. You know, so it brings us back to that issue of the importance, the central importance of mentorship in creating another generation of achievers.
Amazing.
Yes, yes. So I think that's part of the picture.
Now the mentor out there is saying, I am willing. You said she should be willing. She says, I'm willing. And the protege or mentee out there too is saying, I'm also willing. I'm desirous of, climbing this ladder. So how do we start this relationship?
I think one of the ways, we're living in both fortunate and unfortunate times. Yes, both fortunate and unfortunate. Why so? I say so because social media is a potent force for even what we're talking about.
Right.
There are people I have met on social media, I have never met them personally, who have given me a boost on my journey. As a writer, as a poet, as a publisher. I have never met them and I may never meet them. So some of the connections may not necessarily be physical connections, they could be cyber connections. This our God is a connector.
Right.
He can use any means and any method, even in our church settings. When we come to fellowship like this, in fact, I remember that once I was suggesting to the women's fellowship in my local church, why don't we have a database?
Can I hold you up there?
Yes, ma'am.
We will come back to this discussion because it's going to take a lot.
All right.
So, right after this break, we're going to be talking about mentorship strategies. Please stay with us.
And so when the urge to drink alcohol or smoke marijuana or cigarettes came on me, I would tell myself I can stop all these things through Christ who strengthens me.
At 10 o'clock in the night, I'm lying down on the bed, unable to fall asleep. Because the question kept coming back to me, what if you died? Where would you spend eternity?
Journey of life. God seemed to have lined up people for me.
Welcome back to the show. We have been speaking with, should I say, an amazing woman, Mrs. Amaka Ogwejofo. She's been amazing. She's a writer and publisher. We've been talking on mentorship, raising tomorrow's female leaders. You can follow the conversation on our various social media handles on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at WorthyByDesign20. And don't forget to leave a comment. We're going back to this discussion.
Yes.
What are the ways of establishing mentorship relationship? You have told us, you know, the cyberspaces has been amazing
Yes,
in creating
yes,
this.
yes.
So you're talking about your church. Please go
Yes,
back to
for
that.
instance, in our church settings, we meet for women's fellowships
Sure.
and various programs that involve women. And I think one of the things we should begin to do consciously and deliberately is to look out for opportunities to mentor. Maybe I'm an events person. I have a huge events company complete with mega tents and all kinds of things. And somebody pops up beside me and says, you know, I would have liked to do something like this. I'm a creative. I like panorama. I like festivals. I like colors. I like, you know, I'm an artistic person, and I want to find expression in this. You should jump.
Right.
You should jump. You shouldn't. It's not something. It's okay. You are creative. Okay, that's nice. God bless you. Creativity is good. No, no. You should look at it as an opportunity, like you said, to give back. Oh, okay. Could you come over to my place?
Let's talk.
Because I'm looking for people like you. I'm looking for people like you that have the innate ability to combine colors and shapes and so on. Can you come to me and let's talk about this thing and see whether there's anything I can give to you? So, because you see, how do I put it? Christianity is a holistic thing.
Sure.
Sometimes we make things to become only spiritual. Someone is hungry. You know, I'm not
God
saying
bless
yes. You understand that kind of thing? So if I can bring somebody in and teach them what I know, and this is what they want, and I can use this to add value to their lives on a daily basis, why not? It doesn't stop in Matthew chapter 5 verse 4. You can actually, part of Matthew chapter 5.
Yes, let's make it a reality.
Is this.
Right.
Is this. Is me seeing that you have a need. Instead of me giving you fish, I can teach you to
How
fish.
to fish, right.
And I think that is actually part of the picture. So in various fora,
We should be deliberate about it.
we should look out for somebody who can benefit from me. It's more blessed to give than to receive.
Right.
Sometimes in this generation, we're always thinking about destiny helper. You're also somebody's
You are.
destiny helper. Yeah, it's not only them that are destiny helping you. You're also somebody's destiny helper.
True.
So you are keeping your antennae up
Yes.
and cleaned. Looking for somebody who says, Mom, you're doing this, I'm interested. Say, see me on Monday morning.
What if a person doesn't even have the boldness to walk up to the mentor and say, Mom, you're doing this and I am doing this.
Okay?
How can we work this out?
Every time you get an opportunity, say, should anybody be interested in making small jobs? I teach. And you know, one of the things that we must do for each other as women to raise this generation that we're talking about is see beyond the short run. See beyond what I can gain. See beyond what I can benefit as an individual. Like I said earlier, it is more blessed to give than to receive. So don't always be saying, I'm running a training school. And if you want to learn how to make hats, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. If
We should have the other arm that could give out freely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We should have that disposition. It's a disposition.
Yes.
To look at somebody and say, I want to make you big. I think I have the capacity. I want to make you big. Come. You don't need to pay me anything. My joy will be tomorrow when I see you seated on that seat.
Destiny helper.
Yes. That's my joy. That's my payment.
Right.
That's my payment. We have to come to that point.
So what strategies can a mentor and her protege or mentee leverage on to have, you know, a fruitful relationship?
It's really an apprenticeship. You know, I come from, by birth, I come from an area called Ekwusiko local government area. The Nnewi local government area is right next to us. We're brothers. And everybody knows about the Nnewi success story. It's out there. Everybody knows about it. They have created more millionaires in Nigeria than possibly any you know this thing, than possibly any other sector.
Sure.
How did they do it? It's the same deliberate thing. Somebody chances on something. He may be the first generation of people who got into that area. He doesn't go alone. He doesn't say, oh, that's nice. Now I can be the only millionaire in my community, in my own mona. No. What he does is that he searches for likely young men among his kindred, and he brings them on board. And what do? You begin a process of deliberate training. deliberate transfer of knowledge. One of the most difficult things in the issue of mentoring is the willingness to transfer.
Yes, it's true.
So that someone doesn't become bigger than you. The willingness to transfer. You don't hide anything. So you break this thing into modules. You have a time. It's not forever. It's not forever. And you don't see this person as unpaid labor. That is how, yes, like you said, boy thing. You don't see, you see this person as somebody who's going to be bigger than me tomorrow. And so what do you do?
And who is going to give back to?
And who is going to continue this process?
Yes.
So you break the thing into modules. You decide that from here to here, I'm expecting to see this in the life of this person. You encourage. It's not every time you are scolding and scolding and scolding and telling the person you never do well. You speak with, you show them a vision of their future. You let them see their future. Then you take them through the thing bit by bit. You step back. You let them see you do it. That is the greatest way of mentoring. You
do
let
as
them
I do.
Watch what I do. That's what Jesus did. You let them see you do it. And not only that, you step back. Some people who say they're mentoring, they micromanage the mentee to the point of...
the person just gets tired.
Mental stagnation. You don't tell him, tell her, Amaka, go and do this. And when Amaka, you are breathing over her shoulder. Say, that's not how I say she should do it. Touch here, touch here, touch here. I have told you many times, touch here, touch here. Touch here, touch here. Let her make the mistake. Because that is part of the process of mentoring. You learn from your mistakes. Let them learn. If the mistake is not life-threatening, let them learn from their mistakes. Do it this way. You let them say, when the person comes back with a finished product, you say, what is wrong with this? Let's look at it. You see this, you see this, you see this. You can do this better. So those are some of the elements of the practical transfer of what you know to the other individual.
Now, what are the likely results we can get from this deliberateness?
Expansion. Expansion. Let me refer you back to the Ndewi model. At a point in my life, I came to realize that almost every Ndewi man is a multimillionaire. How did it happen? Why the skewed demographics? It is this same thing that we are talking about, the issue of mentoring. So
there's growth.
There's growth. There's expansion. You are generating more of you. You are cloning yourself, in a manner of speaking, because that is what mentoring. You clone yourself. You are cloning yourself in a manner of speaking, and increasing the number of people who have what you have, making the world a better place, making your community a richer place. So I think that's part of it.
Now, this takes me back to something I have been pondering about. Woman-to-woman mentorship. Why are we having that in short supply?
It is in short supply for a number of reasons. One of the things I can see, it's changing. It's a narrative that is gradually changing, but I hope it changes faster.
It needs to.
Women don't really trust each other.
Okay.
Women don't really trust each other to, how do I put it now? They don't trust each other to have each other's best interests. If you come to the spiritual area, for instance, spiritual arena, you will find that most women would prefer to go to a male counselor than to a female.
True.
They will even tell you, if you say go and see, say, no, hey, when is pastor available? I don't want trouble. So they see each other as, not as helpers, but as hinderers. And until that mental image begins to change, and the only way it's going to change is you and I doing the right thing. You and I showing that we are...
We care.
Yes, we care, and we are ready to practically be of assistance in bringing you to the end of your journey. So that is part of it. Women don't have that confidence in their fellow women. In fact, it has been said that women are their own worst enemies.
So how do we start this from our churches to our schools, to our businesses? How do we get this together?
Like this.
That trust.
Like this. We start by telling ourselves the truth.
Okay.
You will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. We start by telling ourselves the truth. We start by telling ourselves that before now we have not always gotten it right. That before now we have not done the needful. We need to have these discussions, just like what we're having here. That, see, there's a potential to make women visible everywhere.
Yes.
not just visible for the sake of making noise, but to make them value-adding human beings.
Yes.
There is a potential, and that we need to review how we have looked at this thing up to this point in time. We have to look at our shortfalls, we have to look at our shortcomings, we have to look at the fact that you are this old. Who have
Can you
raised?
wrap all of this up in 1 minute?
All right.
Tell the ladies out there why they need to take this step.
You need to take this step so that you can blow.
I love that. I love
You
that.
can blow quickly.
You can blow quickly.
To save your time.
That's all I needed. So our guest has said it. We need to take this step so we can blow. We want to blow. So mentorship is one of the major ways through which women discover and enhance their worth. In other words, we can blow. Are you in search of direction for your future? Find a mentor. Do you want to help a lady get a protege? Can you think for a moment how many value-driven women will be raised all because one person took a positive step? So much deliberateness is required if we will have more women in the corridors of power and in boardrooms taking decisions. Let's start right now. We have been speaking with Mrs. Amaka Ogwejofor. She's been amazing. You've been amazing. She's a writer and publisher. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for
So
having
this is how far we can go on today's edition of the show. Thanks for watching. Do join us again next week, same time, same station, for another edition of the show. Until then, remember, ladies, you are worthy by design and you need a mentor. Bye now.